WBS 87 Atlanta, WAEN FM Atlanta, WBHH, and on iHeartRadio, the home of the Beat Break Morning Show with Sean Garvey, DJ Rollum, and the Wake Up Ladies. This is Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives. Streaming online at beatbreakradiofm.com. The views and opinions expressed on this program does not necessarily reflect those of Beat Break 87 FM, Reach One Communications, volunteers, staff, and management of Reach One Communications.
This portion of Beat Break Radio is only suitable for mature audiences and not suitable for young audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I would like to welcome you back into another episode of the Random Select Podcast. It's the podcast that's all about thought-provoking talk. I am your host, Mario, right here on Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where talk and music radio lives. Hope you guys had a great King holiday. Hope most of you guys enjoyed the long 3-day weekend. We could all, use a chance to refresh and recharge the batteries and things of that nature. Today on the show, we definitely going to have relationship coach Rick Soderbeer on one of these segments at some point, guys. He's a relationship coach that's going to teach us how to date and find extraordinary love. So y'all keep it locked for that particular segment. I don't know what's going on with you guys. Lately it's been up and down for me, but mostly up. I can't complain. They always say if God can get you to it, he can get you through it, I'm a true believer in that. And besides, like they say, you can do all the complaining in the world you want. Nobody really wants to hear it because they're too busy complaining about their own problems. And I tend to find that that's a really true statement, guys. I was thinking about, my phone's been acting up lately, and I've been thinking about getting me a new phone. And I've been thinking about what phone should I get? Should I stick? I've been an Android guy since, since smartphones have been kind of the thing to go with. I've never crossed over into the Apple market, but a lot of people saying once you go Apple, you never go back. So I've been thinking lately, what should I do? Guys, if you could help me out with this, help me out with this. Should I continue to support Android and Google and, that platform, or should I take the plunge and go over to the dark side and get me an Apple product with the iOS operating system? But the problem I got with a lot of these phones is that no matter which one you get, phones cost more than TVs now. I can remember back in the day when I bought my first little car, it was like a old school Chevy Malibu, and I paid $900 for it. Let's just round it up to $1,000 for the car. That was my first little, as we like to say, first little plucker, but it got me from point A to point B. But then I must admit, it was nice. It was cherry red. The body still looked good. Unfortunately, the engine wasn't worth a crap, but I didn't care. It was $1,000 and I was going to ride it until the proverbial wheels fall off, in which the proverbial wheels did fall off. But now you got phones that are costing that much. Phones are costing more than 55, 60-inch TVs. And when did we transition to the point where phones cost more than everyday ordinary things? Depending on what you got going on in your life, your phone is like your third major purchase behind your house and your car. Think about that. Phones are starting to cost more than your washers, your dryers, your refrigerators. Cost more than your bedroom set, your living room suite. more than your TVs. I mean, literally, your phone is your third most expensive thing in your house. Like I said, think about that for a minute, people. Your phone is the third most expensive thing in your house, behind your car and your mortgage or your rent. So I want you to think about that for a second. On the flip side of that, honestly, when you think about your phones, right? And I know we spend a lot of time on our phones, and that's not the same thing as how productive your phone is, right? You spend a lot of time on them, but that don't mean you're doing a lot of different things with your phone. Because even though we spend a lot of time on our phones, most of that time is searching social media sites, sending texts, and talking on the telephone. And every so often we search Google and we listen to music on our phones. But that's not telling you how productive your phone is. That's not telling you the value of your phone to you. Because ultimately, more so than how productive your phone is, it's how much time you spend looking at the screen. Because we'll watch out Netflix every so often when you're somewhere where, you know, you're spending a little time, you'll listen to your music, you'll watch your Facebook videos, you'll make your Instagram post and your tweets and stuff like that. But that's you using the phone. That's not your phone being productive to you. You know, it's not like you're faxing from your phone, you're creating multimedia documents from your phone, because at best, not all of us, because some people do take advantage of all the things that their phone potentially can do, but 90% of us don't even use the phone for all its full capabilities. Most of us just social media, Google, listen to music, watch a video on Netflix every so often, and take selfies. Think about it though. That's the extent of your phone, is social media, internet, music, a few videos, and taking selfies. And you're doing all that for around $800 to $1,000. So I want to know, is there somewhere or something in between, you know, going big or going home? Because technically I might have to go home, because I can't spend $800 to $1,000 on a phone. I mean, for real. We talking about something at best that I'm just going to, cause I've told myself and I made myself be aware of the fact that I only try to do social media in the morning when I get up, you know, make my rounds around all the different places. And then I try to do it, you know, like in the evening and wrap things up. Because what I find with the social media, even though the world is definitely on social media and everything is trending and happening around social media, social media makes you waste a lot of time, makes you become, if that's not what you do for a living, or that's something you have to do on a regular basis, you don't realize how unproductive you're being when you've constantly got your face tucked into the phone. You know, when you really think about it, you know, like I said on yesterday's show, how come we live in a world where right now, more than any time at any point in the history of the world, in any generation, we are connected from a social level more than at any point in the world. But you step outside your front door and go into the real world, you flip that around, we live into the most unconnected time in reality, where people don't know each other, people don't get to know their neighbors, and you could be standing next to people for 6 years, you don't really know their name. They can't even get your mail for you if you go on vacation, or put your trash can back up against the garage for you on trash day, just in case you're not home, because we just don't know people like that. So think about it. In one way, in the virtual digital world, we're connected. I mean, in just 2 minutes, if I was to post something, it could be all around the world viral within a couple of minutes, and a couple million people have seen it. Even though that's never happened to me, and I would love to experience that one time, to see if I post something and then 2 million people see it just like that. But the point I'm trying to make is that's the speed of information. That's how fast information can travel, just like that, which makes us ultimately connected in this big web of things, you know. But when it comes to reality, we are so disconnected from each other. We have no true humanly connections, which is funny, because I said in yesterday's show that we can be not connected to people around us in such a way that is crazy. Somebody can ask you digitally on the internet, give you a sad story, give you some type of hardship story, and we want to donate through GoFundMe and all these different things. And just like that, you give them, 10, 15, $20. But you won't help out the person next door, the person down the street. We'll talk about that person. They can give you the same hardship story and you'll think that person is trying to get over on you, or that person just trying to get money out you, because we so many used to bums outside of gas stations asking for, money, and sitting at the, overpass, asking for money when you're coming off the highway and things of that nature. And I guess we become numb to it. So I guess so we don't have to feel so numb to it. I guess when people ask for it on social media, donating their birthdays and things of that nature, don't make us feel, so bad. We haven't become quite numb to that. For some reason, we like the feel good story of somebody that we don't even know, but we won't help with somebody that you definitely know. And that's why I said that it's amazing how we're connected so much, so heavy, social wise and digital wise, but reality wise, outside in the real world, that connection is becoming severed, because look at it like this. We're going to take our phones that you spend $800 to $1,000 for, and it's really become like, I don't know, a Swiss Army knife, because be honest, you do everything with your phone now. You set your calendar, you use it as the alarm, you use it as the tip, to help calculate tips. You use it to remind you of things. You talk, text. I mean, nowadays losing your phone is almost the equivalent of losing your social security card, losing your ID. And the thing about it is, it's, even if you lose your phone, if depending on, especially if you're an Android person, I know this, I don't know how Apple works, but I know as an Android person, I can go get me a new phone and everything is saved to kind of like my Google account, and bam, it drops back right down in there like, you never missed it. You know what I'm saying? Even though the person, who find your phone could, really do some damage if they wanted to, but your phone has become such a vital, important part of who we are, what we do, and what society do, that it's amazing how they've transitioned that into all of our lives, and we haven't batted an eye at it, because it keeps us so connected. At least we think we are, we saying that, when the last time you talked to so-and-so? I talk to him every day on Facebook. When the last time you really talked to them? It's been 2 years since I actually physically heard their voice, or since I actually physically seen their face. So think about the connectivity that we think we have. Think about how connected that we want to be, but we're truly not, But getting back to the phone thing, what should I do, guys? I mean, I don't know, should I jump over into the Apple? Should I continue to be Android? I mean, what's the experience? And it's hard to go with Apple now that, they've said that they purposely slow down the older phones and things of that nature, even though they say they're going to fix that and speed them back up. And they're also going to give you, half price on the batteries and things of that nature. And then the question also with that is if I need to change my battery out my Android, I could just buy me another battery and change it out. With Apple, you got to make appointments and go to the Apple store and have all this done. It seems like it's just way too many steps. They say, oh, you don't have to worry about hacks and viruses and all of this. But to me, that's not as nearly important as being able to have to get up out my house and go to the Apple store, set an appointment and get me a battery when I could just order me a battery off of eBay and I have it shipped, eBay or Amazon, and have it shipped right to my door within a couple days, without having to go anywhere for it. And in most cases, free shipping instead of paying somebody, to take my battery out. I mean, that's all the stuff you have to weigh when you're thinking about what do you want to go with? You're an Apple person, you're an Android person. And I mean, I don't know. I just think no matter which one it is, like when Google came out with the Google Pixel, right? It's jumped right up there as a high end, as I like to call them, a high end luxury phone, is that worth it? I mean, and then the thing about it is you just got to buy these phones sight unseen. You can't go test them out to see if it works for you. At least I don't know where you could go test them out and test drive them and play with them and see if this is worth it. And even then, it'll be like when I go to purchase a phone that costs $800, right? The clerk or whoever, sales associate, salesperson, customer service rep, whoever, they will be like, sir, you have to let the card go in order for me to swipe it. I would be holding on to that thing like there's no tomorrow, like they're the jaws of life. I mean, I just can't imagine me just doing it, and then I would think twice. I'd say, all right, hold up, wait a minute. Let me really think about this. So I'm wondering somewhere out there, people, it's got to be some comparable phones that don't cost $800 and $900 that'll perform just as comparable as the ones that are high end. Because I know with Apple, there's no compromising on the price. I know that their price is their price, and that's that. Even when I first was thinking about live streaming and starting my podcast, and everybody was telling me that if you want productivity and performance for your podcast and work related, go with the MacBooks, go with the MacBook Pro, right? And I said, okay, fine. I did all my research. I did all my due diligence. Then when I started looking at the MacBook Pro and seeing how much they cost, that threw every research and every due diligence attempt or thing that I did out the window, because no matter how much research you do, no matter how much due diligence you put into something, it still always comes down to budget. Now, it was nice to have all that information, in my brain and have all that just to know the specs and know everything that it could do. But unfortunately, sorry, bye-bye, you don't fit because of my budget, So I end up having to go find somebody for the same price that'll build me a custom PC, Windows PC. And I ended up getting a hell of a machine that hasn't had any problems, that has processed, streamed everything the way I wanted to do. And then there was no learning curve for me because I knew how to work all the software from the Windows standpoint. And then I factored in that it was going to be a learning curve as far as the Apple go. I would have to learn how to work GarageBand and all these different Apple things, as opposed to the stuff I already knew. So you also got to keep in mind, if you don't mind learning and dealing with the learning curve, then hey, by all means, try an Apple. The few times that I did go try an Apple, I had a friend of mine, he had one, he let me try it. It worked flawless and seamless to me. I have no issues with it. But at the end of the day, I'm a budget conscious person, and to me, budget kind of overrules everything else. Now, if I had, and that goes without saying, now, if I had an unlimited budget, maybe I would dive into the Apple market and try it and just say, hey, let's go for it. But unfortunately, I do have a limited budget. So for the same price, for a little cheaper, I was able to get a better computer with better specs than the Apple, built from the ground up to my specifications on the Windows PC. And with the extra money that I saved, I bought me another mixer, and I bought me a bigger monitor. So I mean, for me, it was like, watching my mom cut out coupons and bargain shopping and getting, a lot of extra groceries for the little money that she had, and that's in me, that's instilled in me, and I had to weigh that out and try to figure out how all that was going to play into what I'm trying to do. So I will be interested to know from a person who's gone from one to the next. Definitely a person who's gone from an Apple to an Android, I would love to hear from. And then vice versa, a person who's gone from Android to an Apple. I would like to hear some comparisons. I would like to know, how does it make a difference? At the end of the day, does it all perform the same? Does it all do the same thing? Cause I don't know. And also I would like to hear from somebody who's decided to go in a lesser, cheaper market, somebody that decided to get a phone that performs just as good as those phones, but for less. Because at this current moment, I have a Samsung Galaxy Mega 2. You know, it's one of those big phones, but at the same time, it's starting to give me problems. It's starting to have severe lag, and ultimately it makes you unproductive if you got to sit there and wait and wait and wait, and then it freezes. Then you have to take the battery out to start it back over. Then I definitely don't like that, because when you need what you need and you're trying to access information, or I'm trying to upload stuff, or I'm trying to put posts together for the podcast or for the Facebook page, you want the speed to be right then and there. You don't want lag, or you don't want to have to wait, because sometimes in this information world, when you are late in putting something up, it could be the difference in viewers. It could be the difference in likes. It could be the difference in the right person seeing it, so for you can have sponsorships and things of that nature. So I don't want to ever have that lag. So I just want to know, have phones gotten out of hand? I mean, if somebody would have came to you in 1995 and you was an adult in 1995 and told you that right now we're going to give you the cell phone, you can walk around, you can do what you want to with it, and it's going to cost you $1,000. Back then, you would have instantly said no. Instantly, just told him he must be crazy, and instantly told him to get up out your face. Period, point blank. That's the way that would have went. No questions asked, no hesitation. But somehow over the years, they've sold to us that not only are we going to charge you guys $800 to $1,000 for it, but we're going to make you do it every year. Every year is going to be some type of new version come out. And then to ensure that you get on the road to buying this, and I'm talking from an Apple standpoint, to ensure that you get on the road to buying this new phone, we're going to take the old stuff and we're going to slow it down. We're going to make it not work as good. So we're going to start to think that something is wrong with our phone. Therefore, we must get the new one. And which I've always said, no matter whether it's Apple, no matter whether it's Samsung, no matter whether it's Google, LG, I've always said, what's their incentive? What makes them say, it's got to be something built in to make them say, hey, let's make people get a new phone. Now we know you slow the other phone down and it makes you start thinking something is wrong with it. And therefore, once something is wrong with it, we're going to have to get a new phone. Because I'm telling you, lag will make you buy a new phone. I'm at that point right now where I'm saying I got to get a new phone, because pausing and lag will absolutely drive you crazy. You know? So I get it. So now they have not only conditioned us to pay $800 to $1,000 for a phone, but they've conditioned you to switch them out every time a new one come out. And then the problem I have with that, every time they come out with a newer version every year, it's nothing that much drastically better than the last year's version. It's marginal at best. You know, like the 1 year Apple came out, they came out with Siri. 1 year Siri didn't have it. They came out with the very same phone. All they did was added Siri, and they just added an S to the name. Then they came out with another one and said, oh, we're going to add a retinal display. Everything else is the same. The same thing like Samsung, with the Galaxy Edge and all those things. At best, they give you marginal things. 1 year Samsung came out with the same phone, and all they did say, well, now it's waterproof. Came out with the next year, they said, oh, now it's waterproof, but now we've trimmed the edges down where it's slimmer. But pretty much it's the same thing going forward, because if you ask yourself, it's just like with the video games from 1 year to the next when we play Madden and all that. Sometimes the things that you see be marginal at best. But even for marginal, it makes us give them EA another $59.99, when we pay it. Same thing for Apple, even though if it's just marginal at best and all they did was added Siri, right? We still makes them give you another $800 to $1,000. Same thing with Samsung. Even at its best, the upgrade or whatever you're doing is marginal. So it makes us give them another $800 to $1,000. Now think about this. Google is trying to push that their phone is, it's a Google Pixel phone. They say it's an Android system. You say, but it's made by us, Google. Who better to take advantage of all the things that Google offer than Google, So you knew that they was going to eventually get into the market, but they're selling platform, their selling slogan, their selling technique is saying the reason you should buy this phone is because it's made by us. We know how to take advantage of what we do. So which means for all y'all other people like Samsung, LG who are using Google, it's some things out there to take advantage of Google that Google haven't told you guys. They have been holding it in their back pockets and keeping it for themselves. And and now they got y'all like Nelson. So if you Samsung and you LG and you all these other companies, ZTE, you asking yourself, wait a minute, what are y'all doing different than what we're doing? Because we have access to the same apps. Y'all give us this bundle of apps that we got to use. They say, yeah, but it's us. You didn't think we have a trick up our sleeve? You didn't think we could do things with our apps that we didn't potentially tell y'all because we knew at some point we was going to come out with a phone and we wanted to be able to charge $800 to $1,000 because we wanted to tell the world that, yeah, y'all got those Google app with those phone. You can have the Google app with Google Pixel on our phone and we can show you how those apps really should be used, really should work. Yeah, you got them over there, but they playing with them. We gonna show you how to really get into them and make them work and show you how the big boys do it. And that's pretty much what they did. They pretty much showing you how the big boys do it, showing you how Google would do a phone. Google would work the apps, showing you that Google is better than Siri, Google Assistant, making it all work together with Google Home Mini and all this stuff, all for about $1,000. You can have it all. So if you're out there, let me know what phone I should buy. Let me know, do you think all this phone stuff is politicking? And I didn't even get into, what goes into making the phones and who making the phones and things of that nature. That's even if y'all care about things like that. But let me know, guys, what phone should I be ultimately trying to get? Should I stick with my Android or should I go over into the Apple operating system? I want to know. All right, guys, we're going to close this segment out. We're going to get ready to go into the break. You're listening to the Random Select Podcast right here on Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where talk and music radio.
Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives.
Hi, this is Clifford English, your host and producer of The Gospel Train. Join me every Sunday right here on Beat Break 87 FM radio. You will be encouraged, you will be equipped, you will be educated, you will be entertained, all while hearing the best in gospel music. Don't miss your connection with the Gospel Train right here on Beat Break 87 FM radio, beatbreakradiofm.com.
We specialize in creating mobile apps for the entertainment industry. Go to bvmobileapps.com, click Get Started Now, create your account, choose your package, upload your content, and click Submit. BV Mobile Apps. Make it easy. Make it mobile.
Hey world, it's your man Precise, and I have great news. The Precise Music app is finally available for your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry through Amazon and other app stores. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z. Go get it for all things Precise. Powered by BlackVibes.com. I tried to put it off, but I can't. It's so me. Tried to blame the other man, but I can't. It's so me. Stay in tune. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z.
He has performed on stage in front of thousands of poetry lovers. He has sold out shows and rocked the crowd with the best poets in the industry. Welcome to the stage, spoken word artist Patrick Duncan, better known as the Preacher Man.
I am Benjamin P. Montgomery. I invented a boat propeller. I am the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela.
Critically acclaimed spoken word artist, poet, writer, and the creator of Black on Purpose poetry TV series Wordplay. Patrick the Preacher Man Duncan is coming to a venue near you.
Why is the only time we can come together as a nation is when there are acts of insanity, chaos, or devastation.
Stay tuned to Beat Break 87 FM for up updates on Patrick Duncan's upcoming arrival to your city. Visit cdbaby.com/CD/Patrick S. Duncan to order his latest album, What's Going On. Available online, including CD Baby and iTunes.
I want this high to have no affiliation to a political party. I want this high to be spiritual.
For more info, go to BeatBreakRadioFM.com.
Beat Break 87 FM wants to help you get the word out on your next community event.
Hey, do you have an upcoming public service announcement that you want listeners to know about? Well, email us the info to psabeatbreak87fm@gmail.com so we can help spread the word. That's psabeatbreak87fm@gmail.com. If your event flyer has the words nonprofit, community, support, charity, and just describes everything about helping our community, please share the special event right here on Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives.
When it comes to hip hop,
Don't stop.
R&B, and talk radio, no one does it better than Beat Break 87 FM.
This portion of Beat Break Radio is only suitable for mature audiences and not suitable for young audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this is Rick Soderbeer, and you're listening to Random Select Podcast.
And today we have a very special guest, a guest in which I'm honored to talk to see what's going on, to see about finding extraordinary love. We have Rick Soderbeer. He's an accomplished author, and he is a dating expert. And we're going to let him talk. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into it. Rick, go ahead and introduce yourself and get an audience a little background on you.
Well, thanks, Mario. It's a pleasure to be here. Again, my name is Rick Soderbeer. I'm an author, a dating coach, a speaker, and a blogger. And one of the biggest questions I get is, how do you get into the business of being a dating coach? I mean, that's such a cool title, right? It's something that I just fell into. It's something that I've been a passion. It's been a passion of mine for a while. I've been a student of self and relationship improvement for 30 years now. And several years ago, I was a financial advisor. I retired from that about 4 years ago. And the last couple of years I was there, I was just really not into it. I mean, I loved my clients. I enjoyed what I did, but it just wasn't my passion. And consequently, I was on the phone with a friend of mine, and she challenged me to figure out what my passion was. And it took me about 10 days, I guess, to really sit and sort through some ideas that I had. And consequently, when we were on the phone the next time, I started laying out some ideas for a book on relationships, because we were both recently divorced, and I had gone through an affair, a divorce, and just lots of life experiences. And it just brought me to a point that, looking at all the mistakes that I had made in my relationships, in dating in general, and looking at all the divorce, at the divorce rate, it just struck me that there needs to be a better way to date. And so consequently, I started laying out the premise for a book I wanted to write, and my friend and co-author Penny started throwing some great ideas back at me. I paused and I said, "Penny, why don't you help me write this book?" She paused and said, "Okay." And so within about 2 or 3 days, we were off and running. We had a working outline, and about 16 months later, we published our book. It's called Dating Backward, A Practical Guide to Dating and Finding Your Soulmate. And it's available on Amazon, and you can special order through any bookstore virtually. But it was a process, and over the years, I've talked to literally thousands of people about their relationships, and there are so many common themes that run through relationships, both good and bad. And so the whole premise of what I do right now as a coach and a speaker is to help singles make better decisions, make great decisions about the people they date and the relationships they get into. So that's the thumbnail sketch.
Okay. And I want to let the listeners know that I will provide a link in the description once the show is up, as a link to where you can purchase the book as well.
Great. That'll be perfect.
Yeah. So now we saw in the promos that you do a workshop series since you are a dating coach. And today you want to talk to us about finding extraordinary love. First of all, how did you come up with developing a series about this? How did that all come about?
Well, the series is based on my book, Dating Backward, and there's a step-by-step process that I take workshop attendees through, and we're going to go through some of those steps today in our conversation. And the whole idea is to date consciously, because one of the big things that I found is that singles are, when you get back into the single world, or when you're first venturing out into dating, you don't know what you're looking for. And most people start dating without any clear idea of what they want in a relationship or what they expect. They have some vague, nebulous ideas like, oh, I want somebody that's honest, and I want somebody that's going to treat me well, and yada, yada, yada. But it's just very, very broad desires for the relationship. And what I try to teach people is how to become specific in their search for an extraordinary mate. And part of how we start this, Mario, is to ask some tough questions. And the first question is, are you happy being single? And if you love being single, then this probably isn't the course for you. You have to be a little bit unhappy being single in order to have the desire and the drive to move forward. Then the next question, I briefly touched on it. What would you like? What would you like in a relationship? What are the characteristics? Then are you actively looking for a relationship? And that's key. I can't tell you the number of people that I talk to that say, no, I'm not actively looking. I know God will bring the right person to me. Well, that's wonderful. But if you're at home sitting on the couch, the only one that could possibly be is one of two people. That's either the mailman or the UPS man or woman, depending on what gender you are. So, you have to put some effort into it. You have to take some active ownership in this.
Now, let me ask you this question before we go any further to some of the other things as far as the series go. Now, does this apply to people who have things going on with them? Let's say the person who just can't be alone, the person who keep picking the same old person over and over. Can this system work for anybody, or is it specifically tailored for the person who kind of got themselves together? How does it work?
No, this is actually more for the person who doesn't have themselves together. It will be helpful for virtually everyone, but what my process or what my teaching provides is to help people look at relationships in a new perspective. And even those folks that have everything together will often miss some key components. And the whole idea is to find that extraordinary relationship and not to settle for less than extraordinary. And that's kind of my mantra, is to date consciously and not settle for less than extraordinary, which we all do, and I'll get into some of that in just a minute, because it's a critical part of moving forward, and the key is, and you brought up an interesting point, Mario. So many people get into these poor relationships. They keep dating the same type of person over and over again, and they keep finding, well, why can't I find the right guy? Why do I date jerks? Or why can't I find a good woman? Well, it's a lot of times we don't understand what the right relationship looks like. And 85% of us have grown up in dysfunctional households. And I say that in a very loving way, and because I grew up like most everybody else in a very dysfunctional household. But when you're in that household, you look at it as, well, this is the way it is. This is normal. So when we have that view on relationships, it becomes difficult at best to find a great relationship. And I'm not picking on anybody's family out there. It's just there are very, very few healthy relationships, and that's evidenced by our divorce rate. It's on average it's 50%, but when you look deep down into the statistics, it's 40% of first marriages fail, 63% of second marriages fail, and over 70% of third marriages fail. Well, why is that? It's because we're not paying attention to the things that are not working. We think we like certain characteristics in a person, but we're willing to accept a lot of other things that just are not healthy for us, and consequently, again, we end up settling. So that's why I asked the question, are you actively looking for the right relationship? And most of us aren't.
Okay. Now, for everybody that find this fascinating up to this point right here and say, hey, you know what, I would like to hear more from Rick, and, where can they find your website and things like that, and potentially sign up for one of your workshops, Rick?
Well, you can go to www, I guess everybody knows that. It's .love for a lifetime, and that's spelled LUV, the number 4, a lifetime.com.
All right.
It's a little more new age, and I've had a young woman that was in marketing look at my card, and she says, "Oh, that's edgy. I like that."
Well, a little edgy can be good at times.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So, what are some of the other points and keys in your series, Finding Extraordinary Love?
Well, those are some of the key questions. One of the other questions I ask is, do you know what the right relationship for you looks like? And again, it goes back to what I just said. Most of us grew up in dysfunctional households, so we don't. So what we have to do is we have to take a different look at relationships right from the very beginning. You have to set yourself up for success. You can't continue to do what you're doing and expect different results. And it is, if we look up that saying, that's actually the definition of insanity. Continuing to do what you do and expect different results. So we have to change how we look at things. We have to get disturbed about our present situation. If we're comfortable where we're at, we're never going to find the right relationship, first of all. And then what are you willing to do to move your dating life forward? Are you willing to do what it takes to find that extraordinary relationship? Are you willing to do some of the pre-work before you start dating? And we'll get into some of that pre-work in just a minute. You have to understand.
Real quick, so you're saying for most of us who's been dating for the majority of our lives, and we've kind of run into the same thing. So you're saying dating has been insanity for most of us, for the majority of our lives.
And I think almost anybody you talk to, and it just seems that as we get to the holidays, I've been talking to a number of people over the past few days about how frustrated they are in not being able to find the right person. And yet they're not willing to step out of their comfort zone. They're not willing to take a look at the type of people they're looking at. They just think that it should be magic and somebody just walk into your life. Well, yes, that does happen, but you have to be an active participant in it. Like I said earlier, you can't be sitting at home waiting for somebody to show up or knock at your door. You have to be proactive. And one of those, and this actually goes into one of the other workshops, is getting out and making yourself known, getting to know people, networking. It sounds like a marketing or a sales tactic, but the same thing that applies in sales and marketing applies to our dating lives. We have to be social. We have to get out and meet people. And statistically, the last study I looked at, only 12% of marriages started online. We hear the statistic that online dating is where 30% or a third of relationships start. Well, that may be true, but it's not where marriages start. If you're looking for a long-term relationship that leads to marriage, 40% of those relationships start as friends. So you have to expand your circle of friends.
That's a very good statistic that I'm pretty sure not a lot of people are aware of. So that's great information.
Yeah, it is fascinating when you start doing the research here. So, we have to, and this kind of leads back again to the limiting beliefs. There's so many people that tell me, well, there's no good guys out there. There's no good women. All the good women are taken. You can't, and this, I love this one, is Kansas City is a terrible place to date. We've gotten that stigma from a couple of different studies from people in, I don't know, New York or Los Angeles or someplace that has no idea what Kansas City is all about. And you get into, when you dig into it, there are over 800,000 singles in the metropolitan area. And that's just age 35 and above. And you add in the millennials, and you're going to go to you're going to add probably another 300,000 or 400,000 there. So the point of that is, if you think that when you recognize that there's that many people around, and if you think that only 0.5% of those people are likely to have everything that you're looking for in a relationship, and you cut that number in half, because roughly half are men and half are women, that leaves about 2,000 people to date. Think about that one. And
wow.
Yeah. And if you're in the dating world, that means that you would and I didn't do the calculation. I've done the calculations a while back, but it's like dating 5 nights a week for 7 years and never dating the same person twice. So
that's a lot of dating.
And I have the feeling that most people are going to find their extraordinary relationship before they get to number 2,000. Most people that I talk to still have about 1,980 or 1,990 to go. So they just really have barely scratched the surface in their dating life. So
that's a lot of good information, and when you break it down like that.
Yeah, it really is phenomenal how many people are actually available and out there. And again, we're only talking about 0.25% of the entire singles population. Still leaves you over 2,000 people that are potential mates. And then we need to kind of move on and take a look at some of the limiting beliefs. One of the other limiting beliefs is I can't have everything that I want in a relationship. And that's one of the biggest limiting beliefs that we have to deal with, is that we can't have everything. And I say, why not? I look at that as a very limiting belief, and the downside of that limiting belief is that causes you to settle for less than extraordinary.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, is that pretty much saying that, hey, look, I'll just settle, because if you say I got 10 things on a list and I can only get 5 out of the 10, so I feel that I won. It was a 50-50 shot. But is that settling?
Oh, that's absolutely settling. And the illustrations, I use an illustration very similar to that. And it's fun to ask the question. I said, if you have a list of 20 must-haves, and we'll get into the must-haves here in a little bit, and he or she meets 19 or has 19 of your 20, what do you do? And almost to a person, they say, well, it depends on what that 20th one is. And I say, well, if they're non-negotiable, then if you settle for 19 out of 20, you are settling for less than extraordinary. And I promise you that there is somebody out there that has everything that you want, because all of the extraordinary relationships that I have seen, the people that I've talked to, the relationships that I've been in, when you find that extraordinary relationship, not only will they have everything that you're looking for in a relationship, they will bring more to the table than you possibly imagined. And and for most people, that's extremely difficult to believe or even understand. But the relationship becomes so great, so phenomenal, that it will make you ever wonder why you settled for less in your past relationships.
Okay, that brings me to another point I just thought about. And I've heard a lot of people say, a lot of things have a list where you say, oh, it's non-negotiable, right? But I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I won't do this and won't do this. But I've learned that more times than not, people who say that it's non-negotiable ends up coming off of that. So can you find extraordinary love if you compromise on the list? You say this is absolutely a breaking point, but don't stick to it.
Well, and no, I don't believe that you can, because again, what you're doing is settling. You're letting emotions, and emotions are fine. We'll tackle those a little bit later. But any time that you stray away from your must-have list, your non-negotiables, you are settling. And while it may be okay now for the first few months, or even maybe the first 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, at some point down the line, you're going to look back and say, I wish I would not have settled. I wish I would. I would so love to have these characteristics in my relationship. And so rather than do that, be a little more patient and be a little more diligent in your search, and you'll find exactly what you're looking for. Consequently, and that's one of the reasons that I have people write out their list, so that they don't, when they get into the infatuation and raging hormones of a new relationship, that they can step back from that and review the list and say, well, does he or does she have everything on this list that I'm looking for? And sometimes it takes a little time to learn all of the characteristics, but in 30 days or less, most of the time you can see red flags, or you can determine if a potential mate is missing some of the must-haves. And it's much easier to end a relationship, a budding relationship, in that first 30 days than it is to do it 3 months, 6 months, 3 years, 5 years down the road. And so it's important to be able to extract yourself from the infatuation, at least temporarily, to be able to recognize the potential red flags that are there. I mean, if you don't see any, that's great. Then that means that person has great potential for a long-term relationship. And it doesn't mean that things won't show up later on down the road, but it means that you're doing your due diligence and dating somebody that has a much higher probability of being an extraordinary mate.
Okay, well, let me ask you one last question. I'll let you get back to getting into it. Let me ask you this, and I've heard a lot of women talk about this, and it goes back to what you just said about patience. Do you find that when a person is lonely, it encourages them making bad decisions when it comes to dating people because they're lonely?
Oh, Lord, yes. That is incredibly powerful. There's so much to that question, Mario, that a lot of that has to do with self-esteem, having low self-esteem, that I need to have somebody in my life. I can't live without somebody. Yes, you can live without somebody. Is it fun? Not really. But you have to. One of the keys to an extraordinary relationship is you have to be healthy. You have emotionally, and you have to be willing to be alone and be comfortable being alone before you can truly be comfortable in a relationship. If you are in a relationship or get into a relationship, we've all heard of that needy woman that just has to be there. She has to, she's calling you 20 times. She's, clingy, whether it's physically or emotionally. And, while that may be nice and may be cute up front, it gets old after a while. So what we have to do is, and this is with both men and women, we have to become comfortable with ourselves. We have to love ourselves first before we can move into a healthy relationship. And 99 times out of 100, when you're needy, you have to jump into that relationship, and you find yourself jumping from relationship to relationship to relationship. It's because there's a low self-esteem. You don't have confidence in yourself to be alone. You don't have that comfort level of being able to be alone. But yet that's so critical for a healthy relationship. So those are things that we have to work on pre-relationship, and to be able to move forward with a healthy, strong relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you. All right. I just wanted to ask that question. I'll let you get back to, your notes from finding extraordinary love. But I always was curious about, does being lonely make you, help aid in bad decisions?
Yeah, it does. And, in following along the question of bad decisions, a lot of times we'll get into a relationship and it just breaks my heart when I talk to people that are in a relationship. They know it's bad, but they don't have the strength to leave. And I've got a dear friend that just recently, she was in a very abusive, primarily verbally and emotionally abusive, not necessarily physically abusive, but it was emotionally and verbally abusive. And she finally found her voice and her strength to leave that relationship.
We'll be back with more of Rick Soderbeer after the break.
This is Atlanta's new underground station.
How you doing? This is Wood Harris.
Hi, this is Jasmine Guy.
What's going on in Atlanta? This is Clifton Powell.
Hey guys, it's Niecy Nash from TV Land's The Soul Man. This is Cat Williams.
Check this out. This is your boy RL from NEXT.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Lunel.
What's up, ATL? It's your girl Ken of Atlantic Records.
Hi, I'm Taraji P. Henson.
WBS 87 Atlanta, WAEN FM Atlanta, WBHH, and on iHeartRadio, home of the Beat Break Morning Show with Sean Garvey, DJ Rollum, and the Wake Up Ladies. Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives. Streaming online at BeatBreakRadioFM.com. Download the TuneIn app to hear Beat Break 87 FM on your mobile device and listen to the Beat Break Morning Show. Weekday mornings only on Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives.
What's up, ATL? Make sure that you check out the D Here Radio Show on Beat Break 87 and BeatBreakRadioFM.com.
Hey world, it's your man Precise, and I have great news. The Precise Music app is finally available for your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry through Amazon and other app stores. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z. Go get it for all things Precise. Powered by BlackVibes.com. I tried to put it off, but I can't. It's on me. Tried to blame the other man, but I can't. It's on me. Stay in tune. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z.
We specialize in creating mobile apps for the entertainment industry. Go to bvmobileapps.com, click Get Started Now, create your account, choose your package, upload your content, and click Submit. BV Mobile Apps. Make it easy. Make it mobile.
Listen to Beat Break 87 FM on the go. Download the Beat Break 87 FM app from the app marketplace, including Amazon, Google Play, and the App Store. View photos, videos, and Beat Break 87 shows on your mobile device. Download the Beat Break 87 FM app now for free.
He has performed on stage in front of thousands of poetry lovers. He has sold out shows and rocked the crowd with the best poets in the industry. Welcome to the stage, spoken word artist Patrick Duncan, better known as the Preacher Man.
I am Benjamin P. Montgomery. I invented a goat propeller. I am the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela.
Critically acclaimed spoken word artist, poet, writer, and the creator of Black on Purpose poetry TV series Wordplay. Patrick the Preacher Man Duncan is coming to a venue near you.
Why is the only time we can come together as a nation is when there are acts of insanity, chaos, or devastation.
Stay tuned to Beat Break 87 FM for updates on Patrick Duncan's upcoming arrival to your city. Visit cdbaby.com/CD/Patrick S. Duncan to order his latest album, What's Going On. Available online, including CD Baby and iTunes.
I want this high to have no affiliation to a political party. I want this high to be spiritual.
For more info, go to BeatBreakRadioFM.com.
Wake up weekday mornings to the Beat Break Morning Show and nod your head in bed to the 360 Mix Show. Weeknights on Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives.
This portion of Beat Break Radio is only suitable for mature audiences and not suitable for young audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Let's continue down the path of finding extraordinary love. All right, now we have the 4 cornerstones in place. What's next?
Well, the next, what we talked about is, what are the things that you want in a relationship? And I always have my clients and my workshop attendees create their must-have list. And this is a list of non-negotiable characteristics that are the key characteristics that we want in a relationship. And I say non-negotiable because they are non-negotiable. If he or she doesn't have everything on the list, then it's time to move on and keep looking. And if you have something on the list that is a would be nice, and it is negotiable, then it belongs on a different list. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'd like him to make $1 million." Well, is that a non-negotiable characteristic, or is that a non-negotiable feature? There are some people that say, "Yeah, I make $1 million a year. He has to make $1 million a year." Or and I use that as an example. Your characteristics are whatever you want them to be. Tall, short, fat, skinny, whatever is important to you, holding hands, being a communicator, being truthful. Those are all types of characteristics that you can put on the list. It's whatever is important to you in a relationship is what you need to put on that list. And again, they need to be non-negotiable. And they need to be written in a positive format. And when I say a positive format, it means that it needs to be written as he must have, or he must do, he must enjoy, that type of thing. Whenever you start putting it in a negative format, such as no smokers, then you start focusing on the negative, like I mentioned earlier. And that's exactly what you attract. So that's why it's so important to put it in the positive. Saying something like no couch potatoes. If you're an active person and you want somebody that's active, must be active, must be physically active. Because the minute you say no couch potatoes, guess what you start focusing on? You start focusing on couch potatoes, and that's what you're going to start recognizing and seeing. So again, it's critically important to put these in a positive format. And this is a dynamic list. It's not a static list. And what I mean by that is that as you date, you will date people that even if you only have one date, it's a one and done, you may find some characteristics about that person that you think, yeah, I really want that in my next relationship. So you add it to your list. When I first started my list, I came up with 19 must-haves. At the end of the first week, I was up to 23. And it has been about 7 years since I started my list. I'm up to about 39 or 40 items on my list. And they're very simple. And some of it's just holding hands. Some of it, it for me must be on the same page politically. I don't want to have those arguments on a daily basis or on a regular basis. So, there are certain very simple things. One of the other examples I have from my list is that you must earn a decent living. And it doesn't need to be a millionaire, but must earn a decent living, which is followed right behind it by must want to be with me, but not need to be with me. I want to be with somebody that doesn't need to depend on my lifestyle or my income for their lifestyle. So, it's very important and this list needs to be written. I can't emphasize that enough. I talk to so many people and say, do you have a list? Oh, yeah. Where is it? Let me see it. Oh, it's in my head. Well, that's great, but when you're in a new relationship, and again, we've got the infatuation, guess what? You're not paying attention to anything on your list. You might catch one or two key things, but some of the other things that are must-haves go by the wayside, and you completely ignore it. What the list will do is it will allow you to back away from that infatuation just temporarily to look and say, does he have or does she have all of these things that I'm looking for? And sometimes, depending on what you put on your list, it takes a little time to find out if they have everything on your list. And sometimes it's a matter of asking questions. I think some of the greatest ways of finding out if they have everything on your list is just to talk in casual conversations. Don't make it an interrogation or an interview. You can say, if you enjoy spending time at the lake, well, tell me, do you enjoy spending time at the lake? Do you enjoy boating? Do you enjoy whatever it is? Do you enjoy snow skiing? What are some of the activities? You can learn a lot just through casual conversation. I was going through my list, and this is such a tragic. I met a fantastic woman one time, and early on in the relationship, we talked about our lists, and she says, "What's on your list?" And I pulled it out. I went through my whole list, and I got to the last item. Must be a non-smoker. And she looked at me. She says, "What kind of smoke?" And we knew right there that the relationship was over because she was into casual pot smoking, and that's not something that I want in my life. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that it wasn't right for me. And so we instantly knew right there. And we're still friends to this day, but it was when you know what you're looking for and you're able to go through that list, if nothing else on your own, you can quickly rule out potential bad relationships or potential problems later on.
So finding extraordinary love is boils down. I don't want to say boils down to, but a major component of it is being able to identify, recognize, and eliminate to avoid wasted time.
Absolutely, and that's I think I mentioned it earlier on. You can do this in 30 days or less. And when when you're clear about what you're looking for, it's like any other goal in life. It's if you have goals at work, or personal financial goals, you know exactly what you need to do. And some of you out there may have these things defined down to you need to put away so much money for retirement every week for the next 20 years. Well, this finding an extraordinary relationship is no different than any other goal, other than sometimes it's a little difficult to set a time frame on it, because it might take you, you might stumble on that onto that extraordinary person quickly. It may take you a while, but the reality is, if you're not clear, if you're not crystal clear about what you're looking for in a relationship, how are you going to know that you've got it? Are you going to spend 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years in a relationship and then wake up and say, no, this isn't it, and then start over again? No, the whole idea is to be able to recognize the potential for a relationship, or if there's no potential, recognize that quickly so that you can move on and not waste the time. Like I talked about the timeline, very early on. We don't have a lot of time on this earth. Some of the realities, I'm almost 60 years old, and when I look at life statistics, I've got about 27, 28 years left. I don't want to spend the bulk of that time in a poor relationship. I'd rather be in no relationship than to be in the wrong relationship. Makes life so much easier.
Well, when you put it in those terms, yeah.
I mean, don't misunderstand me. It's nice to have somebody to do things with. It's nice to have somebody to cook dinner with. But again, I would much rather be alone than be in the wrong relationship. It's just, there's too much emotional energy that gets sucked out of you, and it makes life no fun. Life needs to be enjoyed. And if you can't enjoy it with the person you're with, then it's and for those of you that are married that might be listening, I'm not advocating divorce. I do not like divorce. There are things that you all need to do to work on your relationship and try to make it better. But for those of you that are dating, that are either just starting dating or you've been married for 20, 30, 40 years and find yourself back in the dating world because of a divorce or a death, then be very serious and very deliberate about your next relationship. It's, again, time is finite, and we don't want to waste it with the wrong relationship or spending too much time trying to look and not recognizing the red flags. Then complementary to the must-have list, and typically it's a much shorter list, is the deal-breaker list. We all have those certain things that are deal breakers for each of us. That if we see somebody smoking, well, we know that's a deal breaker. Next, somebody that's, and everybody's deal breakers are going to be different. Drugs, was one for me. That's a deal breaker. Pornography is another deal breaker for me. It's just, and I had not even thought about that until I was having a conversation. We were with a woman that I was getting to know, and we were on the phone one night, and she said that she occasionally likes to watch pornography to become aroused. And I said, yeah, it's been nice to know you. That's just not something I want to participate in. There are a lot of, and I mean, if folks out there enjoy that, that's up to you. But there are studies that show that it's not healthy for a relationship because it characterizes sexual intimacy in the light many times as not healthy. So anyway, you have to have your deal breakers. And then the third and final thing that we'll talk about today is describing what you bring to the relationship. And this is something a lot of people don't think about. We all think about the things we want or don't want. But what makes me an extraordinary mate? What are the things that I bring to the table? And, I've had people say, well, it should be that, it's probably going to be the same as your must-have list. And that's not necessarily true, because I would like somebody personally that knows how to cook. I can cook. I'm not a good cook. But I would truly love somebody that's a great cook. I'm a pretty doggone good baker, but I'm not a good cook. I do simple things. I can make a hamburger. I can make a couple of, I can fry an egg and make oatmeal and some simple things. Although I can make a complete turkey dinner, but that's not something I do every day. Not something I enjoy doing every day. But the point is, you don't necessarily have to have a item for item list of what you bring to the relationship. And this is also.
But let me interject one, and I don't want to interrupt you, but you bringing up a very fascinating point, because I did a podcast a while back, and a lot of the women on the show, every woman thinks they're a good woman, so I've never heard a woman that just said, you know what, I'm wretched, I'm not right. Every woman that I've come in contact with swear, by Almighty that they're good women. And sometimes I've seen women who preach about romance, but on the flip side of that, they're so used to getting it that a lot of women don't understand how to put romance back. So, like you said, your list doesn't necessarily have to match step for step, because a lot of us don't know what we bring to the table.
Well, and that's an excellent point, Mario, because this is probably the most difficult exercise I have people do. And it's so critically important, because we have to take a look at ourselves. And it's always easier to look outside and say, well, my relationship failed because he did this or she did that. We rarely look at what we contributed to a relationship, or what our flaws are. We all want to think that we are extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Reality is, if you want somebody that's physically active and you're 50 pounds overweight, you probably got to get off the couch and start making some lifestyle changes. One of my clients, and God love her, I would have dumped this relationship a long time ago. She was in a relationship that he was not very communicative, and she talks about everything and is very animated and very emotional. And in order to make this relationship work, he had to become more communicative, and she had to convey to him that she wanted to be in the loop on things that were going on in his life, and not because she was needy, but that's she wanted to be a part of his life, and she wanted him to be a part of her life. And one of the things she had to learn for herself was that she had to calm down, that sometimes there had to be a compromise, that she had to say, okay, I know he's got my best interest at heart, I will let him take care of it, as opposed to needing to know every detail. And so, there was some give and take there. She put in much more effort than I would have, but the point there is she recognized that she needed to make some changes to make this relationship work, to be part of an extraordinary relationship. She needed to tone down some of her emotional response to things. So we all have to, if we're going to find that extraordinary relationship, we have to look at ourselves realistically, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's just no two ways about it. I could, we've met face to face, and I could say, yeah, I'm a stud, and you're going to look at me and say, yeah, Rick, you can lose 30 pounds. So the idea is that we have to look at ourselves realistically and be willing to change the things that we don't like, that we, when we take a look at ourselves, if there's something that we don't like or that we're not comfortable with, we have to work on that. And by working on ourselves continually, for me, it's a continual evolution. I'm not who I was 5 years ago. I'm not who I was 10 years ago. I'm definitely not who I was 20 years ago. It's a continual evolution. One of the things that I would encourage everybody to do is read a book. As a society, we've stopped reading, or to a large part, we've stopped reading. We get all our news or all our information on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever social media you're using. And, for guys out there, I can't tell you how many times I've heard from women that they like a man that can hold a conversation. And that means learning something. It may mean a book on tape. If you don't want to read, get a book on tape. There's something about a man that is read or continues to develop his knowledge over the years, that is a huge turn on to women. At least most of the women that I know. And so guys, don't stop learning. Just because you're out of college and you've been working for 20 years doesn't mean that and you may have learned a lot about your job, but learn about other things in life. Be able to have that in-depth conversation. Ladies, same thing. Continue to learn. Don't stop. Just because you're out of school, you've learned, if you're working outside the home, great, learn your job. Continue to learn. Develop some cultural interests. Continue to read. It's if nothing else, it continues to develop your mind and holds off Alzheimer's and dementia and memory loss in later years. Constantly be a student. Great book that I know of is a book called Dating Backward. A shameless plug there. I ran across some friends on Facebook over the weekend that were complaining about dating and finding guys, and the woman was up at 3 o'clock in the morning, couldn't get back to sleep, and I just suggested, well, if you're going to be awake, you might as well read this book. And it's again, learn something about dating, learn something about relationships, learn something about personalities, and it will help you become a better dater. It will help you become a better mate. A couple of other books that I even recommend in my book is The 5 Love Languages, an excellent book for figuring out how we communicate through different our different love languages. An older book, it's been out about 25 or 30 years now. It's Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Guys, you want to learn about women? That'll take a huge give you a huge leap. But read it after you read my book.
Well, speaking of reading your book, we're getting ready to finish up with accomplished author Rick Soderberry. Tell everybody once again, Rick, how they can, get in contact with you or look up you and sign up potentially for workshops. Give them the whole spiel on you.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can check out my website. I'm at loveforalifetime.com, and that's LUV4alifetime.com. And you can read a little bit about my book. You can read an excerpt from my book on my website. If you want an autographed copy, you can order it there. And it generally takes me, depending on my supply of books in stock, it generally only takes me a couple of days to get it out. And whatever shipping it is to, however long it takes to ship to you. So it might take a week or two to get to you, but you can have an autographed copy. Otherwise, it's available on Amazon.com. Again, Dating Backward. And there's a little kink in the system I just noticed last night. It says Dating Backwards with an S, plural. but you just look it up and it's there. And it's available in paperback or on Kindle if you like e-readers. You can order the digital version, and again, it generally takes a couple of weeks. But then you can also check out my workshop schedule. Well, there's nothing scheduled right now. Shortly after the first of the year, probably in February, that list will be changing. If you want to. If you have, and I love doing workshops for churches for their singles ministry, because it's the singles are the singles ministry are kind of a stepchild. There's most churches recognize that. They like they have programs for families, for couples, but generally there's not a lot for singles. You might go through grief recovery or divorce recovery, but after that, singles are pretty much left on their own. So, if you have a church that you would like me to speak to, doing a workshop series for your church, I'd love to. Otherwise, you can send me an email if you have personal questions that you'd like me to address. You can send that to rick@loveforalifetime.com, and again, that's RICK, Rick, at LUV4ALifetime.com. So, just reach out and check out my blogs and some of my videos. I'm on TV from time to time. I just got a text this morning, as a matter of fact, that KCTV here in Kansas City, Channel 5, was apparently re-aired one of my interviews that I do regularly for them, probably once a month there. So you can check those out too. So.
Okay, where can people find you social media-wise?
Social media, I'm on Facebook, and again, it will be Love for a Lifetime. That one is completely spelled out, and all separate words, and it's Love for a Lifetime LLC. And you can like my page, and I'm posting things every day, just little observations, little quotes. Once a week I share my blog on there, and just try to keep everybody moving forward in their dating life and giving them things to think about and how to date consciously. And ultimately that's what it's all about, is making better decisions about the people you date and the relationships that you get into.
Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives.
Hi, this is Clifford English, your host and producer of The Gospel Train. Join me every Sunday right here on Beat Break 87 FM radio. You will be encouraged, you will be equipped, you will be educated, you will be entertained, all while hearing the best in gospel music. Don't miss your connection with The Gospel Train right here on Beat Break 87 FM radio. BeatBreakRadioFM.com.
We specialize in creating mobile apps for the entertainment industry. Go to bvmobileapps.com, click Get Started Now, create your account, choose your package, upload your content, and click Submit. BV Mobile Apps. Make it easy. Make it mobile.
Hey world, it's your man Precise, and I have great news. The Precise Music app is finally available for your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry through Amazon and other app stores. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z. Go get it for all things Precise. Powered by BlackVibes.com. Stay in tune. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z.
He has performed on stage in front of thousands of poetry lovers. He has sold out shows and rocked the crowd with the best poets in the industry. Welcome to the stage, spoken word artist Patrick Duncan, better known as the Preacher Man.
I am Benjamin P. Montgomery. I invented a boat propeller. I am the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela!
critically acclaimed spoken word artist, poet, writer, and the creator of Black on Purpose Poetry TV series Wordplay. Patrick the Preacher Man Duncan is coming to a venue near you.
Why is the only time we can come together as a nation is when there are acts of insanity, chaos, or devastation.
Stay tuned to Beat Break 87 FM for updates on Patrick Duncan's upcoming arrival to your city. Visit cdbaby.com/CD/Patrick S. Duncan to order his latest album, What's Going On. Available online, including CD Baby and iTunes.
I want this high to have no affiliation to a political party. I want this high to be spiritual.
For more info, go to BeatBreakRadioFM.com.
Beat Break 87 FM wants to help you get the word out on your next community event.
Hey, do you have an upcoming public service announcement that you want listeners to know about? Well, email us the info to psabeatbreak87fm@gmail.com so we can help spread the word. That's psabeatbreak87fm@gmail.com. If your event flyer has the words nonprofit, community, support, charity, and just describes everything about helping our community, please share the special event right here on Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives.
When it comes to hip-hop,
Don't stop.
R&B, and talk radio, no one does it better than Beat Break 87 FM.
This portion of Beat Break Radio is only suitable for mature audiences and not suitable for young audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, no, no, no. Hey, no, no, no. Hey, no, no, no.
And I'm joined by my usual partners in crime, Decatur Made Dave and the Frost Giant. And we're going to be getting back at you guys today, talking about whatever comes across the table, whatever's going on in the world right now. And what's going on with you, Decatur Made Dave? How's your week been going?
Week good.
All right. What's going on with you, Frost Giant?
No, nothing much. Work. Starting the flag football thing.
All right, we're gonna kind of start it off with the nationwide manhunt that was going on with the two escaped convicts from Georgia. They escaped from Putnam County work detail, ended up killing two correctional officers, and they have been apprehended. They are in custody, and I'm opening it up to you, Dave. Was this normal to you, or did you feel any fear? Because, you heard people on the news saying that they was feeling like they need to come home early and it could happen. Anybody out there, how you felt about it, and how you felt about now that they being caught?
Well, it could happen to anybody out there, but I'm glad they got caught. It's just amazing they got caught in Tennessee. And somebody posted earlier, and a credit to a YouTube comedian named HaHa Davis, escaping from jail. This is going to be a breeze. They got 3 hours away. So basically in 3 days, they traveled 1 hour per day and got to Tennessee. So, I'm amazed they got caught alive. I don't know how you already a cop killer, but somehow you managed to get turned in alive. The cops, dang, Mario, they knew where you at. They said they showing Murfreesboro, where you stay at? In that area, they showing where you stay at right now on the news down here.
Murfreesboro.
Wow. Yeah, they showing it right now on the news. They was literally in your neck of the woods.
Well, guess what? Wouldn't have known them from Adam to Eve. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't have been afraid of something like that until something happened. Because in today's world, like we said with the guy who got shot, you just got to assume everybody crazy until you prove that they not crazy.
Everybody crazy.
So, Any thoughts on this, Will, about the escaped convicts? I just figured, first of all, I don't even know where the hell Putnam County at. What city is Putnam County? Where is that? Anybody know?
I have no clue. I do want to say condolences to the officers that got killed and their family, because that's a pure tragedy. How they got to hold their guns and everything, I haven't figured out quite yet. But condolences to them, to that family.
Do we have any details on how many people was in the how many people were going was actually responsible for controlling, what is it, 36 prisoners? How many people was control?
They haven't said, but apparently it wasn't enough. Because it'll never, if you got 36, you probably have tops 5 on detail, 6 on detail. They probably just figured everybody got guns, everybody ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, because I want to know that. How many people were responsible? Because that seems like a lot. You know what I mean? For a couple people to be watching 36, because no matter how trained you are, how skilled you are, numbers override everything. I mean, because it only take one fool to feel like I'm going to rush him. And while you preoccupied with that one, the other one come up and get your gun. I mean.
And they were cellmates too. So this definitely beyond premeditated.
Wow. They got like almost a 20-year difference between the two ages? One was like 24, one like 42 or something like that. The two inmates.
But one thing about it, stupid has no age.
No. Touche, my good sir. Touche. Touche. All right, we ain't give you a chance to chime in on his thoughts.
I mean, it's just I'm going to go with the overarching sentiment. I'm just surprised that these two jokers have actually got caught alive. Because looking at the story, they stole a car. The car got recognized and reported. They led the police on the chase on the highway. Basically crashed the car and ran into the woods. At that point, once they say ran into the woods, I am just amazingly shocked that these two folks came out of here alive. Once you run into the woods, I'm just going to assume since it happened in Tennessee and it didn't happen in Georgia, that the Tennessee cops just weren't in that mindset. Because once they ran into the woods, all bets were off. I mean, I didn't know. I just expected it to just become they resisted arrest, coming right at us, and then this thing you know, it's just done. And they said shots were fired. So I'm just amazed. I am truly amazed.
I'm about to say, because the APB all point bullets, it had to be armed and dangerous. This is beyond armed and dangerous. They killed 2 cops. So they lie.
Yeah, I mean, it was armed and dangerous because the guy, the sheriff from the original county, Putnam County, had said these guys have no regard for life. And he was kind of taking heat and criticism because people was like, when they found the first original vehicle, it was only 9 miles away from where they escaped from, you know what I mean? And so, like Dave said, condolences to the family, man, because I know nobody did not think that they was not coming home that night or something like that. And then usually it takes a tragedy like this to happen for everybody to rework how security is done, rework how, protocol is done. So hopefully some changes happen where this won't happen again.
And to piggyback that a little bit, I can't think of his name right now, the congressman that got shot today or yesterday. He seems to going to make it. I just hate the fact that more so talking about what happened, I see more people trying to blame quote unquote liberals for him getting shot, for all the rhetoric that's been going on and people saying bad things about the president, which is odd to me, considering the fact you spent 8 years talking bad and talking about killing the president that was there prior to Trump. So it's weird to me now. All of a sudden, you got a problem people saying something bad about the president. I don't think nobody should. People shoot to kill. You don't come back from death. So I really don't wish death on people just because I don't like who you affiliate with party wise. That's ridiculous. As a whole, the nation, you gotta rethink. This is people. You gotta rethink some of the things you say. Stop being internet bullies. I'm talking about people in Congress, people that vote for people they put in Congress. Everybody get online Like they showed a tweet with Ron Paul last year, tweeted that I can't think of the whole thing, but it's basically refer to your Second Amendment, and it's not for deer hunting, it's for when the government goes tyranny. So basically, just keep people in the government. That's basically what he was saying. But they opened Obama was in office, so it was fine. Now that he's not, and you got people shooting at Republicans. Now it's a problem. But if you accept the bullying, at some point you're bound to get bullied back. Don't cry then. Cry before it's time to cry, and fix the problem. But you don't want to fix it. The tragedy happening. I'm glad they went over the baseball game. I'm surprised they drew 20,000 people though. That's more than the Braves doing right now in a new stadium. But again, I know peace and prayers for that dude. Also, I can't think of his name. But
Scorsese or something like that.
Yeah, they got shot. It's just that don't make no sense. I don't care what party you affiliated with. That just don't make no sense.
But it goes back to the original thing that it's time to start doing again. Every time something like this happens, we get to this age-old debate. What is going to be done about the gun laws? Isn't it time to open up the debate? And I'm tired of hearing people say, open up the debate. It's past the point of debating. Debating ain't nothing for, you want to debate, go join a debate club. It's time to get some real world solutions as far as guns go. I mean,
I had to go.
Go ahead. No, I was
just
saying.
I had to go on my Facebook page. I'm sorry. We're talking about the London attack.
Mm-hmm.
And he was complaining, well, if I had my gun, that would never happen. I said, if they had their gun, more than 7 people would have died. They used knives in the car. Well, if I had my gun, I said, well, if they had your gun, if they had a gun, you may never had a chance to pull your gun out. So we can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If nobody had a gun, we wouldn't have this problem.
Yep.
Anybody, baby, pull the triggers and kill people all the time. You got to think things out. I mean, I just find it odd because the argument always be, well, criminals go get guns, then they go follow the law. That just hey, other countries got the same laws, and unfortunately they have mass killings. They mass killings be 6, 7. Cause you might use a knife for a car, and you tired at that point because you ain't just pulling the trigger and killing 6 or 7 people in a minute. So I'm tired of hearing that argument about the criminals won't get it. Well, the criminals ain't gonna follow the law. Of course not, they freaking criminals, but dang, don't mean you supposed to do nothing about the law. We got red lights and stop signs. And stop signs, people stop at the stop signs, or they may go through it, but at the same time, it's still a law. It's still in place. They got to stop at it. I don't understand. It's there, so we should not have red lights and light. We should have nothing. We should have no laws on book because criminals ain't gonna follow the law. That's weird.
Well, I just want to put out there to the people that because we are Random Select, we have random topics, it make it kind of hard to do research for the show, and we apologize for not knowing some of the names and some of the dates and facts of what we talking about, because we really do randomly talk about, so it's kind of hard to prepare. So with that being said, I'm saying that to say, I just read recently about some country closing down like 18 prisons because they ain't got enough people to fill the prisons. And if
I saw that same thing,
if that's a policy that these people can do this whatever country this was, and I apologize for not knowing, but
is it Denmark? I think it's Denmark.
It's what I mean, that says something. That they closing 18 prisons because they don't have enough people to fill them. And what are we doing? We're doing the very opposite. Not only are we opening up more prisons is so messed up that we're just telling other companies, you know what? Prisons is a business now. You send me a bid, you turn into a company of pretty much a penile boarding house, and private prisons are a big entity in this country. Why is
Sweden?
That? Sweden?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Why is prison a booming business? And I ain't saying that it's all gun related and stuff like that, but I'm just saying the mentality of how this country look at stuff. It's time to do something about these guns. I mean, not even time. It's long overdue. Matter of fact, it's so past due that the rest of the world look at us like, are they fucking morons? What the fuck is going on with them? And we can't understand sometimes why people hate us and stuff, because we're just so cocky and brash. It's ridiculous. And unfortunately, it take me to be an older person to kind of understand that now. But some of our views and our cockiness in this country is, downright offensive sometimes. How are you feeling about this, Will? Yeah.
Okay. I said, it just amazes me that, in this country, I said, you gotta take a driver's test. You gotta fill out 15 different things, to go own a business. You gotta do all this stuff to jump through this, that, and the other. But buying a gun is easy. Heck, buying a gun is easy. And now you gotta wait 7 days, but generally you wait 7 days, you got a gun. It's that simple. And there's no requirement for you having to go prove you know how to take care of the gun, load the gun, store the gun properly. Any kind of safety or maintenance, none of that. It's just, you got a credit card, here go your gun. There you go. You got, country, you got counties here that require kids to get a business license to sell lemonade. But you can go buy a gun, you can go to Walmart and get a gun. So, I don't know. This country, sometimes America has a hard time realizing that they keep looking into the past and stuff, not realizing, this is not the 1700s. I said, like the right to bear arms, as we talked about before, probably on another podcast, it's a different element when it takes you 35 minutes to load and shoot a gun once. Yes, everybody have a gun at that point. Cause I guarantee you in 30 minutes, after that 34 pump and you try to put gunpowder in the musket, you're going to think twice about, what? Do I really want to shoot him? Cause it's just different. So we still looking back at laws, talking about to make America great again. I don't know exactly what America was necessarily great. Granted, I like being here. It's good. I don't plan on being anywhere else. But for a black man, America started being great probably about the same time I saw Optimus Prime get shot down in a movie. That's probably so. I don't know. America wasn't great for black people back in the 60s, 50s, 40s, 1800s, slavery, none of that.
And the thing about it is, going back to your gun point, in the 7 days you waiting to get your gun, right? You can take that time and build up your round collection. So by the time you get the gun, you can have clip after clip after clip, unlimited ammo, depending on how far your money stretches. So if you are planning to go do something, you can hold the police down 20, 30 minutes because you just got round after round after round after round, and nobody cares. Nobody sends a white flag up the pole saying that this man just came in here and bought, 30 boxes of shotgun shells.
And again, like we said on other podcasts, I can't buy 2 boxes of NyQuil, but if I can go buy 6,000 rounds of ammunition.
Mm-hmm. That's true too, man. 2 boxes. You gotta start talking about these 2 boxes of NyQuil.
You gotta show ID. I can stand at CVS sneezing snot on the counter. I like you 2 boxes of NyQuil. I'm sorry, you can't do that. I said, I'm coughing up stuff on your counter. Don't you see I need the NyQuil?
Well, since I can't buy the NyQuil, I'm just gonna go back at him and get me 1,000 rounds, come in here and shoot the whole goddamn place up. See, the logic behind that is dumb.
I'm going to the gun show up the street by my gun because they don't do real background check. Mm-hmm. And I have my gun right there, and I'll be back in a minute to get my NyQuil.
That's what I'm saying. The logic for this is just don't make sense. And I understand, and people got to start saying, if you're a person and you saying, okay, you letting lobbyists and people like that control what you're doing, is money so prevalent that you can't even see that the lobbyists do not have your kids or the country in the best interest? It's about the money that they're making and that they're willing to give you. Because you got to say to yourself, if somebody's willing to give you $100,000, $200,000 a year to push an agenda for them, how much are they making? I mean, if you really think about it, if somebody willing to give you that much, that's something that they saying that this is something I can afford to be without. This is something I can afford to lose. Give him $100,000. You know why I can give him $100,000? Because I'm making $2 million, so I'm good. So I don't know, man. We really got to revisit this thing, man.
And just as another aside to all those folks on the far right, who now all up in arms after they've seen the shooter, shoot up a congressional softball game. Y'all same folks who were claiming all this false flag operations about Sandy Hook and the shooting in Orlando at the gay nightclub. I said, I want all y'all to shut up. Every one of you. Any one of y'all who put something on Facebook, who posted some bootleg blog about it, well, all y'all take y'all stuff down. Because all y'all sit here all appalled and all, hurt over this. Again, I said, these congressmen went through the same thing that countless people, unfortunately, went through in these mass shootings. Stuff with, let's say, parents sent their kids to school, and their kids died at the hands of some crazy jackass with a gun. I said, but all of a sudden, give it 2 weeks. It's a false flag operation. These are paid mourners. Man, get out of here. I said, stop with the nonsense, y'all.
Wow, and the thing about it is starting to happen way too often, and to the point where, you know why people can say stuff like that? Because it happening so much that people are becoming numb to it. It's just one of those type of things, because if you really cared and it really hit the core of you, you would not even attempt to say no dumbness like that. So, I don't know. Let's transition from that into something else. Anything else on the docket today? We want to try to get out with this show and make it sweet and quick, but informative and entertaining at the same time. Anything else going on, guys?
I'm say something light real quick. How did Nick go and get another girlfriend? You publicly done killed somebody. Whitney Houston's daughter, Barbara Christina. Dave, and you still got another girlfriend.
You gotta say allegedly, Dave. You gotta say
allegedly. Well, you know he got sued and he got to pay Bob Brown $36 million.
Yeah, but civil court and criminal court, two different things.
Allegedly. He allegedly killed Bob Christina. Allegedly. But yet he allegedly got another girlfriend. He done beat her up too, allegedly.
I'm about to say, you mean like the folks that would date Ike Turner after he officially beat Tina Turner? I mean,
you didn't. That's different. You didn't hear about it. You probably didn't hear about it like you hear about it now.
No, Dave.
So you saying Tina saying just because y'all didn't hear about it don't mean it didn't hurt?
No. I ain't saying that. I ain't saying that hurt. I'm saying it didn't go worldwide like it did with Bobby Christina.
Yes, it did. It went worldwide. I said that's the reason the movie was a hit.
Yeah,
because everybody knew that story.
Tina getting beat to sleep was legendary, Dave.
Legendary.
Yeah, I know, but still, I don't think the news didn't travel fast as it traveled now with Bobby Christina.
I mean, yeah, but that's because times are different.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So you know that the girl got allegedly killed, and you still date this dude, allegedly.
I mean, but Dave, oh, no, I understand, but I said that goes past Nick Gordon and anybody else.
Who dated Ike Turner? I got a little see about dated Ike Turner after Tina.
Not only did
somebody dated Ike Turner.
Not only did somebody date, I think he was married 2 or 3 times after Tina.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right. I see there Audrey Madison. Well, that was for 1 year though.
That's what I'm saying. You know why she left out the 1 year? Realize I can't keep taking these hooks.
Allegedly,
I can't keep taking these hooks.
Allegedly.
But I mean, but it goes back to the same thing as we like to say, in a woman to meet say her friend, and he a good man. Instead of saying I want a man, like him, she'll say I want her man. I mean, it's the same thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. They went on tour. Ike Turner and Audrey Madison performing Proud Mary.
So
the prosecution rests. I'm done.
My bad.
But again, it go to the same point. Seeing these folks, dating reality stars. Got these basketball players dating known reality chicks who done messed over some other man. That's how they got their reality show. Now you dating them too. Just counting down the days when you get messed over, and you gonna be all upset. I can't believe you did this to me. All I'm gonna do is pop in the tape. Wait, right here. You see this 3 years ago when this happened to athlete X? Now. Just stick your face over there. That's you. That's you. So I don't know why you go someplace where you already know how it's going to end up.
But I think when it comes to that right there,
Right.
and we keep saying how come those guys be messing with the same old 5-10 girl. I think they truly believe I haven't arrived. If player X, let's say, let me just throw out in there. Let's say Shaq been with a person, and then another person in the NBA figure if Shaq been with I've been with, I've arrived. That's the only thing I can assume that they feel. If I had her, that means we on the same level or something like that. Because that's the only reason you would keep doing this. There's no reason you will want the same chick that these same 5 guys had.
But there's a difference in, putting the notch in your bedpost, which as a consenting adult, that's your right to do. And you see him being in committed relationships with these people. That's different. It's one thing to say you want to, scratch the name off your list and keep it moving. But you see him proposing to these chicks. And then trying to figure out 6 months later why y'all getting divorced and you can have your stuff taken. That's your fault.
Hey, you ain't never known love until you got a microphone tattooed on your neck, Will. I mean, you don't know what them girls be doing. You know what I mean? They might got, it's, as they say, it's a reason I'm at the top of my profession. Or the bottom, depending on what your perspective is.
The only thing I can think of is what D.L. Hughley said. One of his stand-ups a long time ago said that all that sound good, but at some point said that chick got better kiss your kids, and you ain't gonna want no chick kissing your kids who you personally know everybody she done been with. Because y'all played on the same 3 teams together. I said, that's disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, her nickname is Superhead. I mean, any more need to be said about that? Like you said, go get her a kiss. Don't kiss the kids, baby. You can say hey to them, you can play with them, but don't. You can hug them. Yeah, you can hug them. Don't kiss my kids.
Don't kiss my kids. They my kids too. I know, but like I said, don't kiss my kids.
Don't snapping that mean, little old man. That what that mean?
Why I gotta be an old man? Cause that don't make sense. You ever heard anybody say snap your neck, Will?
Yeah.
No, Will. They nobody don't say snap your neck.
All the time I heard you hear snap your neck. You watch Schwarzenegger in like some 80s, action movie. That's all time. Other than that, I'm like Mario. You bob your head, nod your head,
snap your neck. And that's on y'all. Y'all just old.
Considering if I'm younger than you, I don't know why you call me old.
Yeah,
Your spirit old, sir. Your spirit is old.
All right, guys, we're going to have to leave it right there. Thank you for tuning in to the Random Select Podcast right here on Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where talk and music radio lives. Until the next time, guys.
This is Atlanta's new underground station.
How you doing? This is Wood Harris.
Hi, this is Jasmine Guy.
What's going on in Atlanta? This is Clifton Powell.
Hey guys, it's Niecy Nash from TV Land's The Soul Man. This is Cat Williams.
Check this out. This is your boy RL from NEXT.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Lunel.
What's up, ATL? It's your girl, Ken of Atlantic Records.
Hi, I'm Taraji P. Henson.
WBS 87 Atlanta, WAEN FM Atlanta, WBHH, and on iHeartRadio, the home of the Beat Break Morning Show with Sean Garvey, DJ Rollum, and the Wake Up Ladies. Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives. Streaming online at BeatBreakRadioFM.com. Download the TuneIn app to hear Beat Break 87 FM on your mobile device and listen to the Beat Break Morning Show. Weekday mornings only on Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives.
What's up, ATL? Make sure that you check out the D Here Radio Show on Beat Break 87 and BeatBreakRadioFM.com.
Hey world, it's your man Precise, and I have great news. The Precise Music app is finally available for your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry through Amazon and other app stores. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z. Go get it for all things precise. Powered by BlackVibes.com. I tried to put it off, but I can't. It's on me. Tried to blame the other man, but I can't. It's on me. Stay in tune. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z.
We specialize in creating mobile apps for the entertainment industry. Go to bvmobileapps.com, click Get Started Now, create your account, choose your package, upload your content, and click Submit. BV Mobile Apps. Make it easy. Make it mobile.
Listen to Beat Break 87 FM on the go. Download the Beat Break 87 FM app from the app marketplace, including Amazon, Google Play, and the App Store. View photos, videos, and Beat Break 87 shows on your mobile device. Download the Beat Break 87 FM app now for free.
He has performed on stage in front of thousands of poetry lovers. He has sold out shows and rocked the crowd with the best poets in the industry. Welcome to the stage, spoken word artist, Patrick Duncan, better known as the Preacher Man.
I am Benjamin P. Montgomery. I invented a boat propeller. I am the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela!
Critically acclaimed spoken word artist, poet, writer, and the creator of Black on Purpose poetry TV series Wordplay. Patrick the Preacher Man Duncan is coming to a venue near you.
Why is the only time we can come together as a nation is when there are acts of insanity, chaos, or devastation.
Stay tuned to Beat Break 87 FM for updates on Patrick Duncan's upcoming arrival to your city. Visit cdbaby.com/CD/Patrick S. Duncan to order his latest album, What's Going On. Available online, including CD Baby and iTunes.
I want this high to have no affiliation to a political party. I want this high to be spiritual.
For more info, go to BeatBreakRadioFM.com.
Wake up weekday mornings to the Beat Break Morning Show and nod your head in bed to the 360 Mix Show. Weeknights on Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives.